Oh, that's right. Wait a second. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. What am I doing here? Why aren't I with you guys out there in California? Sitting my butt here in this freezing cooler of my local liquor store, and as my good superhero Deadpool once said, what in the ass? I'm sorry, don't mean to offend. But seriously, pop culture reference, what the heck am I doing here and you all are out there? Like the first meeting I missed in like a long time, and I don't know what to do. I'm stuck here in Boston and you guys are out in Newport Beach, and here I am in the cooler at a liquor store. Edster, where are you? I don't see you out there in the audience. Edster? And Kimberly Chesney and Elsa and Gifford, my favorite Red Sox guy. Sarah Goldberg and the Kinger, Glenn Arnold, some of my favorite Aussies. Johnny Tampa. Johnny, where are you? Ah, Johnny. Wild Bill Kubitschek making another appearance at a meeting to party. Crazy Jim Lyons, Jeff McGraw, sad Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Schmeeds, you're the best. Love you. Alvin, schlepping all the way from Hong Kong. B. Small from up north, and all my friends in the NPA staff. V, I miss you. Kelsey, the girls, even Nurs. I miss you guys all. So what am I doing here? Well, I want to thank you all, everybody in NPA. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there to accept this award as NPA's Single Man of the Year. What? This isn't about me? The meeting's not centered around a Rudzinsky? I'm sure you all breathed a sigh of relief at that one. Oh, well, it's got to be that thing for that other guy then, I guess. My brother from Titletown. You guys all know Titletown, don't you? Yeah, I know you're sick of hearing it. 12 world titles, Bruins, Celtics, 6 for the Patriots, 4 for the Red Sox. Oh my God, titles. I have a championship parade to get to, so I couldn't be there. I'm sad to say. I am here because this person, this guy, who is a dear friend to the Rudzinsky family, who goes back, dare I say, almost 40 years. I can't even believe it. I must have been in utero at the time. I must have been that young. I can't believe it. My dear friend from Boston, Steve Morris. The meeting you come to, I'm not there. And you're getting this big award. I'm sorry I couldn't be here. We go so far back with Steve Morris that I want to tell you my earliest memory of Steve. It had to have been in the 1970s. My dad was on the board of a local placement association called MPPC, Mass Professional Placement Consultants. And we had a barbecue at our house. We actually had a swimming pool in the backyard. And that day, somewhere in the 70s, I must have been in high school, I think, my brother Jeff and I were the grill boys. We were grilling for the group. And that was the first time that I ever recall meeting Steve Morris. And the one thing I noticed, aside from that handsome mustache that has never left his face that I can remember, maybe it has, or maybe it's gone now, I don't even know if you have. Steve, you got that mustache right now? Anyway, I noticed this guy who seemed to be like a pretty cool guy hanging out with my dad, who was a headhunter, who I had no concept of what that was, and he seemed pretty cool, and so that's what I remember of him. And you know, he was younger than my dad, and I said, you know, this seemed like a decent guy. Fast forward 10 years later, Jeff and I are now in the business, and we had the opportunity to engage with, befriend, work with Steve Morris take counsel and advice from Steve Morris because, you know, look, you don't want to take your old man's advice, so you go to the next best thing, which is someone who's sort of an adult but younger than your parents, who you'd rather take their word than your own relatives. That was Steve. You know, Steve was that bridge to the next generation of recruiters and agency owners that my brother and I became. And, you know, it's funny. Steve seemed to have followed that very same path that I remember my dad being on. There was another placement network that folks like Gifford might remember, FIPC, and my father was on every committee. He was a regional director and involved and always giving. He was an exemplar of volunteerism. And that's how I think of Steve. That's my perception of Steve, is someone who has always, always given back. And, you know, he's a regional director, net chair, whether it was process net or whatever we call these things. Now it's a New England regional director that he is. You know, he's continued to work tirelessly on all of our behalf. And we are grateful. And he embodies that true spirit of cooperative placement, professionalism, and ethics that I think we all aspire to. Well, you know, my brother Jeff followed in that same path, and I miss my brother in the business, as you all know, and I think a lot of you miss Jeff as well. He was also that exemplar of volunteerism to NPA, you know, chair, board of directors. He was on every committee, always there to take a phone call and always there to work with affiliates, on top of competing with our good old friend Doug Stone to see who would make the most splits every year. Jeff was that consummate platinum level splitter. And, you know, I never rose to quite that level of volunteerism. I made it as far as the net chair, but I didn't quite make it that far. But you know one thing for sure, I've never been shy about volunteering my opinion. And now quite like Glenn Rapp volunteers his opinion in some of the owners' meetings, but, you know, somewhere up there. It doesn't quite compare to years of dedicated volunteerism. And to everyone in this room, and some of us not there, but all of us in spirit, Steve, we applaud you, we thank you, we appreciate you, and gosh darn it, I love you, man. But really, that brings me to why I'm here, freezing my buns off in this cooler. Now, it's not about the love and the appreciation, it's about actually making a toast. Because of any of us who know Steve and have socialized with Steve and gone to meetings and worked professionally, when it's time to work, it's time to work. But when that's done, it's time to raise a glass of your favorite beverage. And as you can see, dilly dilly, I am sitting here in my favorite local wine, beer, and for me these days I'm drinking a lot of cider store, surrounded by Steve's favorite beverage. Now look, Jeannie Matthews, Coors Light. Charlie Diana, well, almost anything. Eddie Wallach, the Edster, some fancy Pappy Van Dinkle Winkle bourbon or whatever is the trendy drink of the moment that he wears, those fancy Italian loafers that he's wearing right now probably. But for Steve, it's only been one thing. It's been Bud Light. I'm not sure I've ever seen Steve drink anything but Bud Light. Now, hopefully, if I've gotten my act together moderately, since I'm doing this a couple of days before the meeting, Edster, hopefully you will have brought down a case of Bud Light from you and me and my brother to offer as a ceremonial NPA Lucite plaque substitute, a real case of the golden nectar for Steve. And by the way, per the it's not mead, and I don't want to be stuck in the dungeon. It is actually the real deal Bud Light. So please, let's raise our glasses, if not now, later, and toast Steve Morris, dear friend of ours and our family. I know my dad would be very proud of you, Steve. The very deserving award winner for this year's Chairman's Award. Now, I just want to say one quick thank you, not to Steve, but to his lovely wife Karen, his daughter Tricia, son Tommy, son-in-law JT, and the grandkids, Ian, Louie, and Carl. And you know I'm partial to that Louie name. Here's congratulations to you, all of you, for the fine man that is Steve Morris. I look forward to seeing you back in Boston, and I look forward to having a lunch with you. And listen, everybody out in NPA, I hope you guys have a great, great meeting. I hope it's productive for all, and I wish you all well and many placements. And I look forward to talking to you all soon. Thanks again.
Steve-O, Chairman's Award. Unbelievable. What's happening? Miss you guys. NPA, it's been 10 years since I've been at a meeting. I'm standing here with a case of Bud Light because I figure if I have a case of Bud Light, Steve sees this, he might come over to my house soon. It's been a long time, Steve. There is no one more deserving. I miss you and Karen. I would make this a lot longer, but I know my brother has done one that's probably 10, 15, could be 20 minutes. He blabs and blabs and blabs. Anyway, congratulations. There's no one more deserving. Miss you guys. See ya.
Steve, since you're getting older, I thought this song would be perfect for you. Congratulations for your Chairman Award.